If you want to become a software engineer, all you have to do is grind 1,000 LeetCode problems, right?
Wrong.
You hear this all the time from tech gurus. LeetCode is great, but it won't differentiate you from the best engineers. But I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. The only way that you're gonna get a job as a software engineer is if you put yourself in the shoes of others. It's really that simple. We spend so much time focusing on how amazing our own skills are, but we fail to recognize what's actually valuable to an employer. I'm gonna break this process down into 5 simple steps that you can use to actually become a good software engineer and then land a job in this economy. I know, right? Okay, so first thing is know your stuff. Now, that might sound simple, but just wait. We've all seen the memes where people are applying for entry-level positions and the employer is asking for 5+ years of experience. It's funny, sad, but also, what if you did have 5+ years of experience? Let me explain. In school, we're taught the basics of a language and maybe some data structures and algorithms. Throw an OS and data structures class in there and you've got yourself a degree. But this is the bare minimum that you'll need to know in an enterprise environment. You'll be a lot more valuable if you have an understanding of what an employer really wants. Right now, companies are looking for experienced engineers to pick up the slack so that they can still make a profit. So how can you make yourself valuable as an entry-level engineer? Well, you can learn some skills that an engineer with 5+ years of experience already has. Let's go ahead and look at some job requirements for a senior level engineer. You can see that they require you to have experience with public cloud services such as AWS, Alibaba, GCP, Azure development, and even operational experience with large-scale, highly available distributed systems, and even experience with Docker and container management frameworks such as Kubernetes, as well as CI/CD pipelines. Whew, okay, that was a lot. If you look at an entry-level role, you can see how different the requirements are. They're looking for a degree or minimal experience. But if you want to scroll down to the nice-to-haves, see how similar these are to the senior engineering role? Well, that's because in a bearish market, you want to treat the nice-to-haves like requirements. You want to stand out from all the other entry-level software engineers by telling employers that you have the skills and more than what they're looking for. In fact, I recently spoke with a manager at Microsoft to get his input on what makes someone hireable.
We are looking for growth mindset. We are looking for demonstrations of Microsoft values, customer obsessed, heavy collaboration with other people. And we will ask you, whether you realize it or not, when we're asking you to sort of, hey, tell me about a time when you had a project that went off track and what happened.
So how do you do this exactly? Experience. Yeah, that's it. You have to gain experience somehow. One way to do that is through internships, and yes, even unpaid internships, as unfair as those are.
Where is my coffee?
Oh, shoot, here you go.
Are you serious? This is not coffee. This is tea.
Oh, God. Okay. I don't get paid enough for this. This is probably the easiest way to show that you're capable in an enterprise environment. But honestly, it still doesn't showcase that you have senior level skills as an entry-level software engineer. You need to gain those skills in other ways and impress the employers that you're looking to work for. Again, think about it from their shoes. They want an entry-level engineer that already knows about the cloud, how to use container management systems, and can hit the ground running. They care about their bottom line. Just categorize your learning by topic and give yourself a couple months to do a few crash courses. Take a course on AWS or Azure, take a course on Docker, get a certificate in AI, and try to find information about system design and distributed systems. Scalability is a big one, especially for larger companies. I've added links in the descriptions to resources that you can use to achieve this. Next, you need to build real projects that implement what you learned. Find someone in your life that you can solve a problem for, then meet with them regularly to iterate and modify requirements as needed. Keep track of this information in Jira or Notion, then build the thing. Create a simple API that's hosted on the cloud. Take the time to actually spin up a Docker container and run the app using Docker. It really goes a long way if you learn these things on your own. But once you learn those new skills, how do you demonstrate those skills to an employer? You need to create a portfolio. Here's an example of a portfolio that I recently created on Hostinger to showcase my experience at Target and Microsoft. But the basic idea is to, again, put yourself in the shoes of the employer. What are they looking for? They're looking for experience or projects that show that you have those nice to haves. Hostinger is great for that because they focus on helping you create a website from start to finish. It was so easy to set up my portfolio and there was no coding required. You could use their custom website builder, which has designer-made templates, an easy drag and drop editor, as well as an AI toolkit to help you create logos or format your sentences.
Okay, so I'm just typing in my name, set up this portfolio. It asks for a description as well, so just describe your website based on what you think it'll be about. In this case, it'll be a portfolio, and actually it'll design your template according to the description that you had. And here it is, here's the portfolio. Now my portfolio has been set up. This is just the template, but it's based on the description that I gave Listinger, which is super cool. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the site. This is just a generated description and some pictures, and I'm gonna keep scrolling. Yep, you can see that there's pictures all throughout the website, which is super cool. And so it gives you a really good base to start off with. It even gives you an About Me page and a Contact Me page, which you're going to need for your portfolio if you want employers to reach out to you. Okay, this is the final result, you guys. It looks so freaking good. Okay, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but this was completely Hostinger. It gave me such a great template to work with, AI tools, and even editing ability. It even let me use that grid to kind of move things around, something you can't really do on a Word document. But I'm really happy with the result.
Not only that, but it's an all-in-one website building solution. So they take care of the hosting, domain, and website building process. You can even integrate with WordPress. That being said, Hostinger is offering incredible savings right now. They're hosting a huge pre-Black Friday sale with an amazing 81% discount. And once Black Friday week arrives, the discounts will get even better, up to 85% off. Grab plans starting at just $199 and unlock premium features at unbeatable prices. You know what's lower than those prices? The temperature in Minnesota, because it is freezing outside. The links to these deals are in the description below, and don't forget to use my coupon code POOJA at checkout. Happy shopping!
But that's not all. Networking and a little bit of marketing. We hear this all the time, but sometimes it's hard to understand just how important this really is. Take, for example, the selling the pen scene from Wolf of Wall Street. That scene goes something like this. If you had to sell a pen to a customer, how would you do it?
Would you want to buy the pen if it bends? No, I'm good. Would you buy this pen if I told you it could draw a hand tattoo? No, I'm good. It can even write on paper. No. Okay, fine. At least write your name down on this thing. But I don't have a pen. But I do. And that's how you sell a pen, suckers. That'll be $9.99 plus tax and shipping.
This is the power of great marketing. You want to treat yourself like this pen. Create a need for yourself. And if that means gaining skills that no one else has, then do that. First, you need to put yourself out there. People won't know about you or your skills unless you reach out to people and let it be known. But here comes the hard part. You need to make yourself so attractive as an employee to employers that they'll end up wanting you even though they didn't know they wanted you. Catch my drift?
You're gonna need to spend hours crafting messages to LinkedIn recruiters and even just getting your application out there. Which, by the way, if you want to check out how to craft the perfect message to LinkedIn recruiters so they'll actually message you back, check out my template on our Discord server. We have detailed information about how to get the attention of both recruiters and hiring managers. But the biggest thing is to have a high quality presence. And again, that's where your portfolio comes into play. You want to make sure that the skills you've learned as an entry-level engineer are so far beyond any other entry-level engineer that they'd be stupid to say no to you.
You four, beat it. Position has been filled.
Now, you might ask, what about the interview process? Of course, you're definitely going to need to prep for the interview process once you get an interview. You'll need to brush up on data structures and algorithms as well as basic programming concepts. I actually have a link to a great resource for DSA in the description below. As for learning a language, if you haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking my Kotlin for Beginners course. It's a great course that includes animations, practice problems, quizzes, and more. Okay, so now that you've got the basic technical skills out of the way, what's the best way to interview prep? Hands down, the best way to interview prep is to do it in a collaborative way. You're going to spend a ton of time just brushing up on coding concepts. But all of that's going to go out the door when your nerves take a hold of you in the interview.
Iterate through an array.
Yeah, I got this. That's easy. Iterate through an array. Iterate through an array. Iterate through an array? Celestial battle of gravitational dynamics, Newton's law of universal gravitation emerges as a celestial maestro. Orchestrating the interplane's expression quantifies the rate at which an object traverses space.
So if this was the Earth and this was the Moon and they were equidistant from each other, and if gravity divided by 4 times 3 to the 5th and the limit does not exist. The limit doesn't exist. The limit doesn't exist.
And you don't want this to happen in a real interview.
So you want to train yourself to be ready in that sort of situation. Set a timer for yourself, find a friend. Even if they don't code, they can sit there to just add pressure so you get used to that in a real interview environment. And then try solving a problem in less time than you're usually given. So instead of 45 minutes, try to solve the problem in 25 minutes. And do it on a Google Doc. Yes, a Google Doc. Nowadays, employers are a bit nicer. Sometimes they'll let you use an in-browser IDE. Heck, some will even let you use the internet. But similar to training yourself for a big race, you want to make the practice part of the interview harder than the actual interview so that the real interview feels like a breeze. And don't forget to spend the majority of the time asking clarifying questions and deciding on what data structures and algorithms to use. That should take up the majority of the interview. The coding part should only take about 10 minutes. Many people make the mistake of not communicating because they're so nervous, and then they quickly jump to that coding part. But what did we say at the beginning of the video? Put yourself in the shoes of your employer. What are they looking for in an interview? They're looking for a team member that they want to work with. They're looking for someone that asks questions, admits fault, someone who collaborates and goes through the design process before implementation, and someone who stays calm in a high-pressured environment. The coding part should really only take a short amount of time. The questions, ideation, and pseudocode take up most of the interview. And if that's not happening for you, then you're doing something wrong. All that being said, getting a job is hard. Part of it also comes down to luck, aka location. You want to have the right skills at the right time and showcase those skills that people just can't say no to. Keep people on their toes. Kind of like me, ending the video in the middle of a sentence.